I have a question, y'all. Do freedoms or freedom, is it total freedom or is there stipulations to freedom? Sometimes I do wonder at times, right? Now, the more that I think about it, and many people have different thoughts of freedom and what freedom looks like. Now, we all have freedom, especially in the U.S. and in the western parts. We have this abundance of freedom. Some will think different, or some will beg to differ. But when you compare to the eastern parts of the world, absolutely. Okay, there's no comparison. A person cannot say it's debatable because it's not debatable. You can do so many things in this country. You have so many freedoms in this country that you don't have in other countries. Now, there's no debating. A person might feel some type of way because they can't, or they feel that they can't do whatever they want. Now, here's what we all have to get in grips of, okay? Just like with great power comes responsibility, same thing as with freedoms. With freedoms come responsibility. And this kind of sparked something in me, and it sparked a thought in my mind, and it totally makes sense. Comment down below if you know what I mean, and even if you don't understand it, even if it goes over your head, pass this video around. Share this video, okay? And even in freedoms, there's order. Even in freedom, I'm gonna repeat that. Even in freedoms, there's order. Okay? Where there's no order, there's chaos, and it's anarchy. Okay? And when there's anarchy, that's a dangerous thing. Right? That's the most extreme. Okay? Because what one person thinks it's, logical and rational, another person may not think so. And so there's a constant clash of what freedom looks like. And to some people think that, I should be able to do whatever I want because I have free will, and even free will has order. It doesn't even have to be spoke about. And I'm going to say this again. Free will, there's an order in free will, and when you go against those orders that it's not even spoken of, there's consequences. Okay? There's a balance that's already set, that's been set since the beginning of time, and if you don't learn these balances, if you refuse to understand these balances, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it with your with your life. You're going to wonder why it seems like everything is against me, nothing is going right. Every time I do this, the opposite happens. You know why? Because you went against the order of things and you're kicking yourself against the pricks. That's actually scripture. Christ said something like that. Why are you kicking against the pricks? I'm just summarizing what Christ said. You're kicking yourself against the pricks. You keep going against the order of things, you will not be blessed. I'm guaranteeing you will not be blessed when you go against the order of things. For example, very famous, unfamous topic, taboo of abortion. You know, there's this uproar and this topic, especially amongst women, about if I choose to abort my child, I should be able to. Now, there's so many things wrong with that picture. Many women may not think so, but there is. There's so many things wrong with that picture. For one, it shows that you don't value life. You don't respect life. And for a man that suggests abortion, that man, or just in general, whether you're a man or woman, you don't respect life. And in turn, if you don't respect life, the odds will be against you. Okay? The balances that you're disrupting is against you. Okay? Now my point, I'm going to repeat the point. With freedoms, there's order. When you try to disrupt the order, imbalances happen, and it will happen, and it does happen. Now, when you try to abort, you're disturbing the balance, and you're going to pay for it. Okay? How are you going to pay? How are you going to pay for it? You get too many of abortions, you're not going to be able to bear children. Something is going to be that Mother Nature, when you feel ready to have a child, you're not going to be able to have a child. The Most High would not allow you. It's going to be a stop to that. It's going to be a blockage. You know, this video is going to make some of you feel some type of way. But the truth hurts. When you ask enough people, here's what you should do. You should ask women that had an abortion, and ask them detailed questions. Ask them, do they feel regret? Do they have any regrets? And ask the ones that had regrets. Because ones that you're gonna ask, if you do ask at all, try to get wisdom, you're either going to ask for the ones that's never got an abortion, or if the very least, that lie, and that they say that they don't feel some type of way, they're going to lie to you. And I notice a lot of women lie to each other, to uphold a false narrative, right? And I'm gonna give a lighter example. Another example: if you drive in 80 miles per hour or 90 miles per hour on the freeway, and the max is 75, you're disturbing the balance of things, right? It's not wide enough the freeway or the highway is not fit for enough to exceed the speed limit. Because if something happens out of nowhere, the reaction time, you won't be able to stop your vehicle. You won't be able to have control of your vehicle. That's why on a racetrack, you can go past 75. You could go 85, 95, 92, 100. You know, go to an open racetrack or open field, and you can press your foot on the gas because there's room for you to do so. There's no cars either no cars in sight, or the cars are going the same direction. You just have to be aware of those turns. You have to decrease your speed, or else gravity will show you. Life will show you when you try to disturb the order of things, when you don't go by the order, when you are going against the order of things. Now, when you say, your body, your choice. Yes, it's your body, your choice. But there's a consequence. There's a very consequence, and you may not see the consequence. You may not feel the consequence at a time, but you wonder why the gnawing within yourself, the troubled mind, that your troubled spirit is troubled. Why? Because you didn't aborted your child because of your decisions. If you're not ready to have a child, wear protection, use precautionary measures. If you're not ready, there's order there's order in this life. And when you refuse to understand it, you're going to be affected tremendously. Just because we're in modern times, the old rules apply. The old rules makes this modern thing stand because of the old rules. And the rules are going to be sustained, and it's going to remain even after individuals cross over. After we cross over, and then the next generation, it's still going to apply. All right. Your body, your choice. Right. True. The only way I can see that the order of balance will forgive is if you were forced, if there's a forced, or there's a danger when you're there's a danger that if you continue to carry on the life force, then there's a possibility that neither one of you are going to make it. That's the only two reasons, and that is the most rarest case. That's 0.001%. Okay. It's not the exception. It's not what happens often. Okay, so the question, or to keep in mind, or the statement, I should say, to keep in mind, where there's even in freedoms, there's order. And when you try to disrupt order, the laws are going to put you in line. No one won't have to say nothing to you. You are, quote unquote, you're grown. You're the freedoms, your body, your choice. Yes, your body, your choice. But there's going to be consequences. Are you willing to accept those consequences? Will you be willing to accept the unspeakable consequences? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Many are not ready to ask themselves. And if you can't answer that question within yourself, you shouldn't put yourself in that position to where you have to make that decision. All right, y'all. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.